What's so funny about when I say hillbilly gold?
Well, when I was at Disney, I was drinking at the hotel bar, and there was
By
some
yourself?
guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there were other people there, but yes, by myself. The Orioles playoff games were on, and
Okay.
at the time, and the guy sitting all the way down the bar was desperately trying to hit on this semi-attractive late 30s, early 40s bartender lady,
Hmm.
and he was from Colorado, and he's like, "Let me get a Colorado Kool-Aid." And she's like, "I'm not sure if I know how to make that." And he's like, "Do you know what a Colorado Kool-Aid is?" She's like, "No, I don't think I've ever. What? Tell me what's in it, and I can probably whip it up." He's like, it's beer in a silver can. That's what we call Coors Light in Colorado." And I could just hear her trying to just kind of appease this guy and work on her own tip, and yeah, she played it off pretty well. She, like a stripper at a nightclub, she seemed to be convincing him that they should hang out tomorrow night at the same bar while she gave him drinks. So towards the end of the night, she's like, "Can I get you one more?" I was like, "Yeah, let me get a Colorado Kool-Aid."
See, that's clever. That's
Yeah,
clever. And
yeah.
it's there. I will say in similar situations like that, because I play a lot of golf, and I know that these cart girls just get hit on, but regardless of how you look. These scumbags at the golf courses are just laying it on thick. You know what I mean? Like just endlessly. But also in situations like this with bartenders, female bartenders, of course, where just day in and day out, they're getting fucking men are pigs. That's it. We've discussed this ad nauseum. We don't need to get into much more further discussion, but there's times where trying, I'm not, I was, I'm trying so hard not to that I
Hmm.
convince myself that I'm trying to be someone that oh man, don't, don't be too polite that you'll think you're hitting on her. Come on.
Well, the funny thing about that is, like, I got uncomfortable almost instantly because for me, it was a clever joke and it was
Mhm.
funny. But that guy at the end of the bar was all of a sudden pissed at me because I fucking stole his line,
Yeah.
and the tone of her laughter with me was wildly different than the tone of her laughter with him. And
Yeah.
so I stole his gig and made it work for me, even though I didn't want it to work, nor did I need it to work.
Right.
And I think it's when you're not trying, and we're just clever. Look, we're not the funniest human beings on the face of the planet, or we'd be on stage with microphones making millions of dollars.
Right.
But we're pretty funny. We're clever. And when we're not trying, but kind of trying, I think we're in our fucking wheelhouse. And with a
Yeah.
bartender like that has to deal with scumbag twats like that dude from Colorado, it works.
That's right. That's right. So what were you you were doing? You were telling me off here you were doing some meditating. Then you stopped it with that. You do meditating.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been going through some anxiety because of the amount of money I just spent on a car, and I'm just trying to like lull myself to sleep. And Apple Fitness has this meditation app, and I got the headphones on, and the guy's telling you how to breathe to relax to try to fall asleep. And he's like, "Imagine your breath is the air going into a hot air balloon, and before you pull the cord, you want to take a deep breath. Let your belly rise like the balloon and blow out like you're exhaling the hot air into the balloon." And I'm like, "Huh. Ah, yeah, this is working. But who likes a hot air balloon? That just seems like a really lame adventure that no one should ever really go on." Have you ever seen a hot air balloon video enjoy? Every video I've ever seen ends with a power line or a basket ramming into the ground at like 20 miles an hour. And these guys that power the hot air balloons, I don't know what they call themselves. Probably like, "I'm a balloony because I'm crazy for balloons." What are you flying exactly? Because I know that I could look. If I've never touched a hot air balloon in my life, I guarantee if I had it laid out on the field and went, I could get it in the air. So you telling me these guys are masters of wind? Is that what they're doing? Are they navigating the breeze? Is that how they fly a hot air balloon, or are you just like fooling yourself? I don't know. Is this making sense?
Yeah, yeah. So to backtrack a little bit with like who would ever do this? This is certainly one of those things that's it is an ancient technology that was probably a gas for people turn of the century. And I don't mean 23 years ago. I mean 123 years ago. They're like, yeah, take my hard-earned money. Take me up in this hot air balloon a couple hundred feet and we'll just Stay anchored to a rope for an hour. I don't know. We'll bring a basket with some beer, some sandwiches, and we'll just look at things from propelled from 100 a couple hundred feet. So yeah, I don't see the excitement in it. It's kind of like if I had the opportunity to be on a boat or a kayak, what are you doing?
Oh, okay. Where's the boat going? Are we talking like
Out of the
ocean?
body of no, just like this is like the Chesapeake Bay, your backyard.
See, I feel like I'm more of a kayak guy.
All right. Well, that's a bad analogy then. So I was just going to say that the old technologies. I mean, a badass boat out in the day, sun, beers, women that you're not trying to hit on.
Colorado
That's right,
Kool-Aid
right.
all around.
Yeah, right. Colorado Kool-Aid is just flowing like the salmon at Capistrano. But yeah, are these people qualified? What makes them just a step above? What makes them SMEs, if you will, subject matter experts on ballooning and your safety while you're in the balloon as a paying customer? For this. Now, didn't see a full on accident, but I've seen what could have been devastating right in front of me, like 100 yards.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I was at a Nicholas course, golf course down in Orlando, and adjacent to that, they had a hot air balloon thing, and someone just could not control their little hot air balloon, and it went across the driving range. It was like kind of skidding, and then it would get up to about 5 feet, and it got to a point where like, yeah, someone from the company fucking hauled ass what looked to be about a half mile in a dead sprint, and finally got a hold of it before it went into a housing development.
Oh my God. By the way, just looked up hot air ballooning, 1783. If you look at all French coinage and everything from the 1800s, hot air balloons everywhere because they were so proud of themselves for fucking lifting themselves into the sky. But I saw a documentary about a hot air balloon accident. This kid, this is what he wanted to do for his 9th birthday, and his parents bought him a hot air balloon adventure, and he gets in, and as they're taking off, gust of wind, basket falls over. The balloonie, he falls out of the basket. 9-year-old stays in the basket. Hot air balloon goes up. They're fucking driving down like dirt roads at 100 miles an hour on a CB radio that's hooked up to the hot air balloon, talking this kid into how to fly it. I'm like, you're not talking him into how to flying it. You're talking him into like when to pull the cord so he doesn't fucking careen into the side of a mountain like Kobe Bryant in a fucking air helicopter. Like that's all you're doing. You're not flying it. You're just controlled chaosing it. I don't know what you're doing. So I feel like these people, they pick nice days and that's it. They're getting kind of lucky. Like maybe they know some wind patterns. I don't know. I just think I don't know the joy of it. You have to stand up the whole time. Like you said, you're just high. Go in a building if you want to see shit from that height. That's it. That's it.
Take an elevator up 80 to 120 floors, at your nearest city, depending upon where you are. There's a decent one in Baltimore. It's not, New York City skyscraper high, but it's like 600 some odd feet. You see the whole panoramic view. You can see Towson.
Just find a fucking, like a nice deck, outdoor, whatever you call that thing where you walk outside, like the Empire State Building and shit. You go outside and you look that. See, to me, that seems a little more harrowing for some reason than a hot air balloon. I don't know why. But it just does. I wouldn't want to go scuba diving either. I mean, I get it, maybe. Like, if you like fish, I don't know. I don't see the allure with it. There's just certain adventure things that I don't get. Rock climbing. Like, one of my dreams, honestly, is to go to, what is it, the Devil's Tower? The thing that Richard Dreyfuss made out of mashed potatoes and Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I'm not familiar with the mountain range, but I'll take your word for it. Sure.
It's a butte, and I think it's out in Wyoming. And I'm sort of kind of like Richard Dreyfuss and Close Encounters. I've got a calling to go climb this fucking thing. But to me, that's like, it's a physical thing. It's an accomplishment. You get to the top. You get the view. There's something mixed into it. Now, I know that ain't everybody else's cup of tea. That's my cup of tea. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There just seems to be a lot of like, I don't know, adventure seekers that seek bad adventures. And they usually don't end well.
So I'm not necessarily sure I classified scuba diving. I've talked to divers, people who are, either were paid or was part of their profession or were serious hobbyists. and did some pretty cool explorations. You know, get down to basically being underwater for half hour, hour at a time. It seems pretty cool, and you know you can make a profession out of it. I knew a guy who did underwater welding, did well too. He got paid. He got paid well.
Yeah, but see that I feel like okay. I feel like underwater welding. I mean, it's just different. It's like you're going down to do a job, and just your environment is hazardous. You know,
Right.
you're just wearing a bunch of weights, and you just happen to not be able to breathe the atmosphere around you. So
Yeah, that's you're right. It might be a little bit different, but anyway. Yeah, I see. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and hot air ballooning is up there. I've never once ever was like, yeah, I should spend money to do that. You know what? I'm going to take a wicker basket with me with cheese and apples and wine. Whoo wee! This is going to be a day. No,
and I've
I had to
never
get drunk before I'd get into one.
I've never seen this. Most often you see the videos and it's like wedding proposals. I don't know that I've ever seen a hot air balloon wedding proposal that ended like just right. Somebody dropped something. There's a gust of wind. There's a really tragic landing. It's always something bad. There's never a get on YouTube and look up hot air balloon, and I'm almost willing to bet that you're not gonna see a picture perfect flight.
Yeah. I wonder
Ever.
if you've had bad hot air balloon gender reveals. God, that would make my little heart just pluck, just go bananas. Ah, God, just crash. Have the balloon crash and the powder goes everywhere.
Oh, red. What's that mean?
It's death.
Means we have an orphan. That's what it means. What's the safety protocol, by the way, for almost every other, skydiving, you got a backup chute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flying a jet, you got an ejector seat. You know, scuba diving, you can drop the weights. Like, what's the evacuation procedure for a hot air balloon? You're
Hot
too
air
low for a
balloon?
parachute. I have a feeling that those gangsta sons of bitches who spent their retirement savings on a hot air balloon aren't going to be shimmying down a 30-foot rope all that quickly. So you're done. There's really no escape plan for a wayward hot air balloon.
You better hope the craftsmanship of that basket holds up, bro. You better hope.
Or that sweet
balloon,
release
the ballooney's telling you to like just when you hit the ground, make sure you go with the fall. Drop your feet.
Bend your
Let
knees.
your
and
ass
just-
let your ass collapse. I'm a certified ballooney. I know what I'm talking about. Oh shit! Now bend over, kiss your ass goodbye. They taught us that in school. I'm certified. I don't know why I keep saying that. It just sounds funny.
Well, because I have a feeling that line is used quite often on a hot air balloon adventure. Don't worry, I'm certified.
It's a-
What?
3 seconds. That's the perfect pull. God, Christ.
I'm a propulsionist. No, you're not.
No, you're bullshit. Don't lie. Yeah.
You just bought a huge grill and fucking strapped a balloon to it.
Bro, you went to a one ad in a paper. All right. You didn't even go to Indeed. That's where you found this job. Like, yeah, seems all right. I could do this. 3 days training? Whatever. I pay for it? No big deal. Oh. So, hey, speaking of explosions and speaking of blowing shit up, you do that. You'd put a hot air balloon in your living room and call the police.
First of all, middle class holes, everyone.
Foxman. Alan is here with us in spirit. He's not luring the police over via Looney Tune conspiracies on his LinkedIn page. He actually has some serious work to do. What did he say? A bid of like $700,000 or something?
750.
Yeah. We were like, this motherfucker, I'm gonna miss the fucking show. He's like, it's a $750,000 bid. Damn.
You sure you can't make it though? Maybe a couple hours late, you squeeze it in. It's like, and then I'm thinking like, we're literally asking a guy whose livelihood is on the line, like just before Christmas, to like stop doing his real work to come
Right.
talk about hot air balloons and lunatics in DC.
We got a packed show, Alan. All right. We need your wit. We need your humor. We need your sensibility, man.
I will be honest, if Alan does listen to this, which he won't. No, we did pass over a few stories because he's not here.
That's right.
Yeah, so But this one, I feel like would be his cup of tea too. But okay, I need you to explain to me and everybody else, if you have not seen the video of this guy, is it in D.C.? Like, is it
Arlington. So
Arlington,
Arlington is
Virginia?
just over the Potomac in Virginia. It's a DC suburb.
Uh,
You're a couple orange line stops away from being in DC, from where this happened.
he turns his brick house. It looks like Kevin McAllister's house from fucking Home Alone, and maybe one of his booby traps went awry, and he turns brick to mist within 30.0 seconds.
This looked like a Michael Bay movie. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not bullshit. Yeah, Arlington, Virginia, house goes boom. And I'd tell you, it's one video, and it's some just neighbor who was minding their business, who then suddenly wasn't minding their business. Like, well, I better get this shit on video. SWAT's out front. They're gonna raid this dude's house, and then voila, man, that person got the shot of a lifetime.
Oh
That
yeah.
thing, that's ridiculous, and it boggled my mind. Only one person died, the homeowner, or presumably the homeowner. Maybe he rented. I don't know. The person who was inside the home who was causing the ruckus.
Well, the hobby that he was into doesn't seem like the type of guy that would have a whole lot of friends and family surrounding him. And
Correct. So I'm already I exit out of the story, and I don't want to run the risk of screwing up my bandwidth here. I think it was Brandon or Brian Yoo. Yeah, he was leaving some very uncrypted, some just not read between the lines, pretty cut and dry, black and white messages about conspiracy theories, mainly, I think some of which involved Hillary Clinton. And he was doing it on his LinkedIn page too. Can you imagine that? God knows if he was employed, and then on your LinkedIn page, you're like, yeah, I have some serious dirt on government officials. Come and holler at your boy.
well, okay, let's discuss a strategy then. So if you're doing it on Facebook, right, you're getting just the run of the mill Joe Schmo general public. I mean, people that are your friends and friends of your friends, and like people you might have gone to high school. But if you do it on LinkedIn,
Hold on, let me. I've suddenly realized what you're getting at, and you're
what?
100% right. You're right, because this guy wasn't looking for gainful employment. He was just looking to get his message out there.
He was looking to get his message out to people that were in the professional world and not necessarily just, individuals. He wanted people that were employed. And I'm imagining bottom line is that house was a nice house. He had a nice job, probably making lots of money for some kind of agency, and maybe he knew something. This is what I always wonder when these things. Everybody just says, "Yeah," people. They always blow him off, like, "Yeah, just a crazy man. Just a crazy man decided to rig his house with explosives because he knew the SWAT team was coming." Who does that? Who does that if they don't have like sort of maybe a reason to maybe possibly do that? I mean, crazy people too. But again, given the neighborhood, given the what do you think the resale value on that house was?
If he owned
Pre-bomb.
that,
Yeah.
if he owned that, I mean, judging a book by its cover, I kind of know that neighborhood. I don't know well, shit. Not too terribly far away from there was a house that was sold where a basement in-law suite was occupied by a fucking hobo, and they sold the house as is, and they had to like kick the hobo out for money. Anyway, my guess would be between 5 and 600K.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that
More if they had done some stuff inside, if there was some renovations that didn't involve C4 or fucking Semtex or something.
Ooh, I like this countertop. What's it made of? Plastique. Plastic? No, plastique. Just don't turn on the stove, okay?
Is this gas grill? No, it's kind of. No. She's the money.
Use the microwave. Make sure there's no metal in there.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that person had to be employed by a company that was able to pay them the amount of money that it would cost to own or even rent a place like that. So
Well, he may have inherited it.
okay, but okay, all right, fine.
I mean, but let's it may have. But let's go down your rabbit hole here. I'm down.
So
You got
I
my
mean, and
attention.
again, he chose LinkedIn he didn't choose like 4chan, right? He didn't choose Instagram or he didn't choose Facebook. He chose LinkedIn To me, that means he wanted to get across to, again, the type of professionals that he was probably already kind of linked with in some spiderweb capacity, because in his mind, he at least thought he had something. And I guess the point I'm making is if you had a conspiracy that went that deep and you were trying to expose it, like, how would you go about it? If you thought it was that important, like Ed Snowden, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he hadn't like done what he did and left the country immediately, don't you think maybe his apartment in D.C. might have fucking suffered the same fate?
Well, so, I mean, Snowden wasn't like that. I kind of get what you're saying, and yes, whistleblowers do now. You know, you're going to get the like anti-conspiracy theory hat on myself. I mean. He had caused a ruckus. His neighbors were suspicious. Then he got suspicious of his neighbors, saying like, "Well, my neighbors are obviously spying on me." With they said he was like having mail delivered to his house that the neighbors were sending in order to spy on him or something like that. Some other things, and then the thing that gets me about this, and I'm not really sure. They said it was caused via a flare gun. So what? The flare gun hit the explosives because a flare gun didn't hit a gas line somewhere and then cause. I don't know, fucking like Independence Day when the damn laser hits the Empire State Building. Dude, I mean that was ridiculous.
He turned brick into mist. And I don't know what the fiery bits like fluttering down were, if those were like shingles that ignited. But I mean, like that was like Michael Bay probably was on the phone with like the fire detectives, like, hey, tell me what he used, because I got this new 4K camera that I tell you, I could just use some advice. That's all I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah. A listener and a one-time guest. This is pre you. He was giving us a review of DDP yoga because he was actually using it, and we wanted to hear from the horse's mouth how effective it was. But his place is. I think he said about a mile-ish, maybe a mile and some change away, and it shook his couch. He was watching television on like.
Well, okay, but as far as him being crazy, again, just see where I'm coming from here. And since you're the skeptic, now take your skeptic hat off and put on your maybe this guy was onto something hat. How else would this go down?
If he was onto something?
If he was onto something, what's the alternative to what happened?
If the house doesn't blow up,
if he doesn't trigger his explosives, what
then
he
gets arrested and brought in for questioning.
And how long does he live to? What questioning? You know what I mean? Like the kind of guy. If you think you're onto something, and then you have, I mean, you got to remember, he was so paranoid that he rigged his house to explode. Obviously. Right. So he really thought he was on to something. And you brought up a point before we started, like, is that a thing they can, like, raid your house for? Like, questionable comments?
How can you get a search warrant for inferences made via social media? Social media can shut you down. Social media is not free speech, which confuses a lot of people. We've had the discussion whether right or wrong. That's just the way it is. But yeah, how did they? What did they go to a judge with a laptop? Like, look at this crazy motherfucker! Come on, Judge Michelson, give us the warrant. And they're like, yeah, Jesus, go raid his house. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, that is a violation of free speech in a way. I mean, maybe if they were just doing a wellness check, but you don't send a SWAT? Team for a wellness check.
Yeah, right.
And then
for armored trucks, like, we just want to see if you're okay, man.
Yeah, and then if you are the paranoid guy that they're talking about on the social medias, what do you think the guy inside is going to then do? You know, like, he's paranoid that a SWAT team one day is going to break down his door, and then a SWAT team shows up at his door. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe you should have sent like a psychiatrist with like a monocle and a soft voice.
You just like don't go to his house. You know, you get him outside the house.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Doesn't seem like the type of guy who was mowing the lawn too frequently.
No, he's having those groceries delivered. Mom came by once every 2 weeks with some knickknacks. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I was just literally floored. I heard about it. Someone sent a link. Actually, the friend of ours or mine who lives in Arlington, and said, yeah, this happened just down the street. Fucking shook my house. You go into looking at those things like, yeah, okay, the roof will blow up, or the front door. I'm making a couple broken windows. No, man, the entire goddamn thing. 2-story brick, old school. It's not. I would say colonial home. That thing was probably built, early 1900s. It's been renovated a lot. A lot of those houses like that from that area are built around that time. Good bones, good hardwood. That thing just.
No, it looked like some fucking hillbilly filled his double wide with tannerite and shot it with a Rambo arrow and just.
It looked like, you remember the energy cells in Terminator?
Yes.
It looked like that got put in there and someone walked away.
Yeah, so Homeboy wasn't messing around, or here's my other theory on that too, is he had some shit that he didn't want getting out and like needed the evidence destroyed. Or if we want to go down the 9/11 conspiracy theorist route, they went in while he was sleeping and planted all this shit in his house, pretended to raid it, and they blew it up. So it would look like he was the crazy man and all the evidence is destroyed.
I'm trying to figure out, let me try to see if we should have done this earlier. Arlington House. I'm trying to see if there's like some Reddit stuff.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's plenty of theories, like more complicated than the web I'm weaving here.
James U. Let me see.
I just want to know what he did. Like, what was his profession and what got him onto this? See, I'm always afraid that I'll find out something because this will be the fate I suffer if it is. Because I don't like to back down from an argument, especially when either I am right or I at least, like, in my bones think I'm right. I will not yield. Even if it's for my own good, I will keep pressing on, and I feel like this guy and I share some DNA. And if we want to check that DNA, we just need to swab the sidewalks outside the Virginia fucking housing development.
Yeah, you need to dress up as, like, I don't know. At this point, it's probably, is it CSI, or do you think at this point now it's just like Arlington police just monitoring the area? Everything's been.
Well, this is where I started to smell a little more bullshit, is because when you were reading the article earlier, you were like, it was identified only one person was killed inside. How the fuck do you know that? Like, did you see the explosion? Like, you could have had 30 people in there, and it would just be an amalgamation of DNA. How do you know that was one human? Is he really, was there enough of a human left from that explosion that misted brick to, like, find human remains inside?
Well, a month down the road, they might find something.
But they already determined it.
They found all DNA from everyone on board Flight 77 that allegedly crashed into the Pentagon.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
All of them.
Okay. All right. You know what side of the fence I'm on with that, but that still seems a little preposterous.
Yeah.
That seems a little magic bullety to me. And I believe that Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK.
Initially with that, the suspicion was raised. How did you get DNA from Middle Easterners like that? You had passengers on board. Family members were able to, like, supply them with something, a toothbrush, something from their house, clothing. You can match it. How'd you get it from these guys? Well, that's the conspiracy theory train of thought. Then they went back to the hotels that they stayed in the night before.
Oh. Well, then I guess you could also just say, like, however many were on there on that particular flight, was there 3, 4? You could just be like, well, there were 4 unidentified and everyone else was identified, and you could just raise an assumption.
Coming from, like, Arabic descent, yeah, you can see that in the DNA. There's a couple chromosomes here and there. It's floating around, I think.
Around.
Yeah.
I got some lodge in the wall here.
Yeah, Christ. But you're right. With this, you're going to have a tough time making out a pillow and a vacuum cleaner because it's all mush. It's all mashed potatoes from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's like just one mashed potato mound.
Well, and the other thing that sends my antenna up too is like whenever something like this happens, it always seems like they know all the answers like the next day before the news story's even done. It's like, well, Mr. Yu was a crazy man making all sorts of strange conspiratorial assumptions and blew himself up in the house. He was the only one there. Case closed. Gavel
Yeah.
slammed. And it's like, but then like you have like other things that happen that are just circumstantial, and they can't figure them out for you. We'll really never know what happened in the house that day.
Right.
And it's like,
I'll be curious to see if there were threats made. That's where I'm coming from. Because remember the guy who shot up the pizza joint in DC?
yeah,
He was alluding to him doing that, and the DC police kind of like, oh well, someone just saying something. I think when again, not saying this person did this, James Wu, but there may have been some reason to suspect that he was plotting something or was making threats about doing something. Don't know.
well,
Speculation.
well, I'm gonna bring the mood down real heavy here. I got caught up on a TikTok channel where it was all just like 911 calls, and this girl calls 911. She's like, I need the police to come. Why? My brother's in his room and he brought a box in. It's like the length of a gun. Like, what kind of gun? Like a rifle. I think he's going to do something. They're like, well, did you see what was in the box? No. And has he done anything? No. So, well, he hasn't committed a crime. We can't send the police. And she's like, so I have to wait for him to do something? And then the next phone call to 911 is that, yeah, is the tragedy. So, yeah. So it makes me wonder, like, yeah, how come in these situations you can immediately send someone, but in these, like, really kind of, like, cut and dry ones, it just seems to be, why didn't we do something?
Yeah, that was it. Did you watch that Dahmer series on Netflix?
No, I didn't. I didn't because I felt like it was going to be just wildly disturbing, and I just wasn't in the mood for it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
It's good though. But there's an overarching theme about neighbors having called the police and them doing nothing about it, in times when they probably could have caught him red-handed. And some I read up on that, and a lot of those are pretty fucking accurate. Now again, a couple details here and there, but like he got caught with like a 14-year-old boy, and he's like, "Oh no, this is my boyfriend," and they were like, "Oh, does he have ID? He looks young." He was like, "No, he doesn't, but he's 18," and he was obviously like he was drugged and just like had a blanket over him with his underwear on. And the cops are like, well, boyfriend. All right, have a good night.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Dude, what's his name? Gacy, the clown killer guy. Like, he got so cocky, he invited him inside.
Yeah.
And the bodies were, like, under the basement or whatever. And eventually, like, he was like, yeah, come on down, guys. You can take a look around again. And he finally fucked up. They got him. It's like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. Well, all right. You just want to take a lighthearted quiz with me?
I sure do.
Okay.
Let's get out of this mess.
All right. This is coming via BuzzFeed. We were scrambling because we had a little bit of a show rundown, and then Alan pulled the plug. That's okay. Again, we're not criticizing. He's grinding out. Right now, he's figuring out how many high-res cameras are going to secure some area. That way we don't have to have handheld cameras watch houses blow up. We can watch it in 4K from the street corner.
Goddamn right. You'll be notified. The fire department will be notified of the explosion as it happens.
That's right. Got a stage 4 clinger. This is from BuzzFeed. So if enough of us take this quiz, I think we'll get to the answers. Some of the world's most controversial questions. Now, spoiler alert, these aren't controversial. But some of these I think are just kind of could go 50-50 either way. Now, I don't know if we're going to have to come to an agreement on these, we have to answer. You ready?
Okay, well, you ask me, and then you can you agree or disagree with my assessment.
All right. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
I've heard this before. I'm going to say this. Technically, I can see why there's an argument for yes, but no, hot dog is not a sandwich. It's on a bun. The bun is not split completely. The bun is loaved, if that's even a term, and it's a it's a delicacy of its own. It's not the breading is simply a holster for the meat. The meat is the product. It's not a sandwich.
Gotcha. See, I will say no as well. But I'm also if you're going to say not all sandwiches are subs, but all subs are sandwiches, and if you explain it to me like that, I go, okay, I'm not losing sleep over this. Fine, they're fucking sandwiches. But sure, okay, we'll go with no. Oh, wait a minute.
What is there an argument for yes, according to the experts at BuzzFeed?
I gotta reload the page.
I'm
Couldn't
sorry.
vote.
The interns at BuzzFeed, what did they?
That's right. We had a deep catalog of questionnaires here for 5 people, all millennials. It's not a sandwich. No.
Well, while it's reloading, I don't know if this is on there, but I've seen this one make the round several times. How many holes does a straw have?
It's 2.
It's 1. It's just a long hole, man. I feel like everybody does what you did, and it's like, oh well, this end's got a hole and this end's got a hole. It's like, no, that's just the hole.
There's nothing. There's nothing in between it. Yeah. Okay. So actually, I can't vote. I can only view the results. So 81% no. So we're in the majority there.
Okay.
Way to go, folks. And actually, it's like 30,000 votes. So actually, yeah.
That's more than Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Do you read the books then watch the movie, or watch the movie then read the book?
I'm not gonna lie. I just watched the movie.
Yeah, I don't read the book before or after.
Yeah, I'm like, oh wow, that's really good. That must have been a really good book. That's usually what I say, and I don't know.
It's just coincidentally that I read the book. It had nothing to do with.
And that'd be a hell of a coincidence. I mean, we're talking like how many movies have been made versus how many books I've read. Oh God, man, that would be like lightning striking a farting flea in a fucking wetland.
And we're not talking about begrudgingly in 10th grade English, like we're going to read Mice and Men, and then we're going to watch the Gary Sinise and who played Lenny? John Malkovich. Yeah. Malkovich. All right, here. Movie before books. View the results. God, do I got to reload this every fucking time we get to a question?
Yeah, because it's BuzzFeed. They got to make sure their fucking advertisers reload. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wish I read more. I just don't.
If it's gonna get to this, I'm just gonna go through it.
I don't give a shit what other people think. So let's just not.
It was 72% books before movies. Jesus, you fucking people. Right. Which is the best day of the week, Monday through Sunday?
Oh. It depends on your job, in my opinion. I'll tell you this. When I was on the radio, Monday was my favorite day of the week. Mm-hmm. And it's because I had all weekend to like let my ideas like really flesh themselves out. I could kind of like my show prep for a Monday show was like a 3.5, like almost a 3-day fucking show prep. As soon as Friday ended, I was like witnessing things that were happening in my life. I actually lived in the real world for 2 days. I came in, I was fresh, I was relaxed, I was ready to roll. So Monday was my favorite day. Now doing the shit job that I do, especially at Christmas time, delivering all the wonderful packages to the boys and girls of America. I'll say like Tuesday or Wednesday is my best day because that's our lightest day of the week. That's when, like, the fuckers at the processing plant have just completely overwhelmed us on Monday, and then on Tuesday they're like, "Oh, we already sent everything out yesterday. There's nothing to send." So yeah, I'm gonna say Tuesday.
I'm gonna go, and I'm just gonna open this on my phone. I can't fucking deal with that nonsense baloney stuff. I mean, I'm a Monday through Friday guy. It's either gonna be Friday or Saturday.
Are we talking about work day, or are we talking about like just general?
Which is the best day of the week?
Oh, Sunday then. It's fucking football. There's always some kind of sport on, and usually like in the middle of the day. You can do if you don't like it, you can just go do something else. I mean, Sunday to me. I mean,
I'll go Saturday simply because I don't have to work the next day, and I don't have to work that day, so I can enjoy almost like Friday. You got to work. You're not off till whatever time you get off of work. Some people 5, some people like myself 3:30. But let's see here. I'm gonna say now. Let's see here. 46% Saturday, 37% Friday. You said Sunday, 5%. Woo! Thursday at a whopping 7.
Well, the other thing is too, I'm always off Sunday.
That's a good point. And then, so which is the worst day of the week?
I mean, again, like I said, for me now it's Monday. Used to not be that way. The worst day of the week, I'd say probably Thursday.
The day we record. That's awesome. So nice
Well,
of
no,
you.
this is the highlight. This is the highlight of my day. It's just Thursday, and I'm just thinking of other regular people in the world. Like you're close to Friday, but you're not. It's not Friday. You still got to wake up, and all you're doing is looking forward to like not having to do the thing that earns you money. You know,
Gotcha.
Like, it's like you're almost trapped. Sure, some people are gonna say Wednesday.
60% Monday. Then Tuesday coming in at 17, Wednesday at 8, Thursday at 4, Friday, Saturday at 1%, Sunday at 9%. What are these people? What, they get dragged into church by their disgruntled fucking significant other who thinks they're a devout Catholic? How dare you? Divorce
You know
them.
what?
Move on.
And I feel like any woman, man, this is gonna be bad to say. Any woman that forces her husband to church has a really fucking checkered past. That's all I'm saying.
There's a great line from Grant. Have you seen Gran Torino with
Clint?
Clint Eastwood? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where after his wife dies, he said, "You know what, I didn't really like going to church. I just used to go because it make my wife happy. Now she's dead. I don't have to do it anymore."
Yeah.
Great line. Should you cut your sandwich? And presumably this is what we talked about earlier: a sandwich, 2 pieces of bread, diagonally or horizontally.
So like making triangles or making rectangles.
That's right.
I think the optimal is obviously triangles.
Yeah, because if you're gonna dip it, you know, the corner just kind of just submerges really good in that dip.
Look, I know you and I probably share a very similar ferociousness. You probably more so than me of like the way we devour our food. And man, you can get that corner like all the way to the dangly bit in the back of your throat, and before you chomp down, that's like half the fucking bite right there.
That's right.
But if you do it rectangle, you can only get like that half moon from your teeth.
Yeah. And
But
God forbid you put some mayonnaise on it, it's going to get on the side of your mouth. Which isn't a bad thing, but you know, want to be a little clean.
Yeah, you want to deep throat your sandwich, man. You want to know you love it. You want to know you love that baby. So you get that bad boy, get as much of that in your mouth as you can. Get all that meat in your mouth.
I love hot meat between my buns. Hot
But
meat.
here's the thing I don't like about the triangle cut is that I really like the top rounded part of the loaf of the bread, like the crust. There's something about the way it peels itself off to that little like right when it makes that little like weird angle to come to the flat side. It's soft. It's just like it peels away, and I like to kind of like peel it back and just munch on that a little bit. So but I do think triangle, yeah, like you said, for dipping and everything else, it's superior.
Triangle's superior, but again, if I show up to a catered house party and they've halved them, I'm not gonna be. I can't eat this. What is this fucking amateur hour? Can't eat this shit. I'm gonna grab a plate, throw a few on there, and devour them. 74% diagonal, so we're on that. This is fucking. If this is a pressing question to anyone in the world, I go make a pit stop to Brandon Yu's place in Arlington, Virginia. Is cereal a soup?
No, it's not fucking soup.
Soup is broth.
Just because
Vegetable, chicken, stock, or you can do beef. Then you can also do pork, duck. There's also a bunch of stocks, but stock is involved. Milk is not stock.
No, it's made from the thing that makes stock. It's not stock. That's okay. I get why someone attempted the question, but no, fucking cereal's not fucking soup.
I'm curious as to, this is going to be overwhelmingly no. I'm curious to see what the percentage is in yes.
80.
No, I mean, do you think no? The small percentage of yes.
No, I'm saying it's gonna be 80% no, it's not a soup, and 20% yes. I'm gonna say 20%.
94.6.
No, all right, good, well done, America. I'm proud of you for once.
I'd say like about 30,000. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
I'm a
Easy.
Pepsi guy. Always
You
have
got a
been.
fucking sweet. That's because you got a sweet tooth. Anybody who has a sweet tooth is a Pepsi guy. Anybody who likes a fucking like good crisp cola is a fucking Coke guy.
Okay. See what we got here. 74% Coca-Cola.
Yeah. See?
God bless America, right?
Yeah.
Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
It's fine. Pizza's a universal. It's a vehicle. Pizza's a vehicle for toppings.
That's
I
not a
don't.
sub or a sandwich, by the way.
What if you fold it? What if you fold it up? What if the sides are touching, right? What if the cheese is touching cheese? And I mean, you got to fold there. No, pizza's a vehicle for toppings. That's what it is. Yeah, otherwise, it's just bread and marinara sauce. You put
Sure.
cheese on it. That's the first topping. You want to add to it? Eat what you want on a pizza. There's no judgment.
Put cereal on that fucker.
Yeah, you put soup on there.
I do a half cereal, half soup. See what you like more. I will say there was a time where I poo-pooed the whole pineapple on a pizza, and then had one with the ham. I was like, ooh. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Now I'm not going to say that's my go-to, but when it gets ordered, I don't shy away from that.
No, you know what the bet? Honestly, here's where that enhances pineapple, onion, and ham.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I concur.
Actually, I'm fucking salivating for that right now.
That's right. You gotta get the app going, man. It'll be delivered by the time the show's over.
A little bit of fucking Domino's dessert pizza. Had that shit on me.
Damn, you wouldn't believe this. 50-50, yes and no.
No, and that's because BuzzFeed's a fucking hack site.
Gotcha. Would Jack be able to fit on the door in Titanic?
Okay, I saw an interview where an older Leonardo DiCaprio, probably within the last 10 years, he was like, no comment, just shook his head, no comment. Because apparently, but the way it's explained is, yes, he could, but it would not have, they would have both just like drowned from exhaustion. Because it would have,
Yeah, it would have been semi-submerged. They both would have had hypothermia and died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, what's her face? I don't remember the
Kate Winslet.
character's name.
Oh,
Well, Kate Winslet, yeah.
Rose.
Yeah. It was only like an inch-ish of water. She was able to kind of float a little bit. So let's see here. He would not fit. No, Christ, nearly 80% said he would have fit.
But see, that's the thing. Is like, I feel like there's a difference between he would have fit and they would have survived. I think he would have fit, but I don't think they would have survived if he decided to. He was. Look, man, and plus, man, he wasn't being selfish. Yeah, let her live with that fucking giant diamond. Have her luxurious life.
He was a poker player, kind of.
He's a poor scallywag. He got to see the beautiful titties.
He did. Maybe he was good to die. He's like, damn. If I die tomorrow, I'll be happy. And
when we get back to shore, they ain't gonna let me marry her. She's not gonna. No, this is the best. This is the best my vagabond life is ever gonna get.
Right.
In the story.
Yeah.
Toodles.
Marvel or DC?
It's definitely Marvel, but
Yeah.
I always
This
wish.
is unless you're like a comic reader. I'm not or wasn't.
I feel like Marvel didn't. Okay, Marvel is always been grounded in more reality, whereas DC's always been like. Marvel is humans dealing with becoming gods, and DC is gods dealing with becoming humans. And which is interesting because Batman is the only one that is like a Marvel character.
Right.
And everyone loves Batman the most.
83% Marvel.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars guy.
I'm kind of torn, man.
These new movies are the ones that have come out in the last 12 years in Star Trek.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the old, the old Spock, the old, why am I blanking on Kirk's name?
Yeah, dude, you can remember so many B-movie fucking like stand-in actors that you can't remember.
I said he was going to die this year.
William Shatner?
William Shatner. I'm not saying those movies were bad. I'm just saying the stuff that they've done the last 10 to 12 years is phenomenal.
Absolutely. No, I feel like, see, the thing with Star Trek, it's us in the future. which I think is more relatable. Whereas Star Wars is just like stuff in a galaxy far, far away. Like it's unrelatable, but there's a rich. I don't know. It's more fantasy. It's more fun, but I don't know. I think I'm pretty torn on it, but Star Wars just ignited something in every male of our generation and before. And by the way, you talk to somebody in their 50s about Star Wars, fucking buckle up, buddy.
How much time you got? Get some cereal or soup. I'll tell you all about it. Should we get rid of daylight savings time? I think we know that.
Goddamn right.
66% yes. By the way, Star Wars was 84%. Xbox or PlayStation? I don't know. I owned a regular PlayStation.
I haven't dabbled.
That's it.
And I would go PlayStation only because I don't know any better.
PlayStation 60/40. It's okay. That's fine enough. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yep.
I said no, but you guys and Calvarino, our legal counsel, corrected me. Yes. So we will say, 56% no, 44% yes.
It's a Christmas movie. It's okay, especially now. I would say like 10 years ago, there was more of an argument to be made against it being a Christmas movie. But then I think once the argument was struck, I feel like you have to look at when programmers schedule the film. They always schedule it at Christmas because of this controversy. And because they always schedule it at Christmas because of this controversy, it's almost like the argument has become reality that it is now officially a Christmas movie.
Right.
Because of the fact that they play it every Christmas, because the plot would not exist without it being Christmas.
Yeah. I guess, like, is it at the, is it Santa and the Christmas spirit and all that shit? Probably not. But
well, it's about togetherness. It's about redemption. It's about forgiveness. It's about putting a bullet in a fucking crazy German man's fucking head, dropping a guy off a building. Like, I mean, all the things that Christmas is all about.
That's right. I did New Year's resolutions. I'm going to stop smoking. Things like that. Doesn't, I think, Carlton Banks makes a resolution.
Carlton? You're thinking of his
No,
dad.
not Carlton. No, sorry, no.
Wow, dude, are you having a stroke? Do you think?
No, not Carlton Banks. Excuse me, Carl Winslow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his point? Like him and the Twinkies? What are you talking about?
I think he says after he crashes the car, he says he's going to stop doing something. It's a New Year's resolution.
Well,
It's just like he's like. But the car, the body smashes on his windshield and he backs it up. It's like, and then goes over the ledge. He's like, I'm going to quit doing something. I swear to God.
I don't know. I think he's just eating Twinkies because he goes into the convenience store. Like he names all the ingredients on the back of a Twinkie.
All right. Middle or edge of a piece of brownie?
Edge. I'm
an edge of two. Ooh, 51% nudged it out. Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Doesn't matter. iPhone 76%. I own a Droid, but lease with option to buy. Does a straw have one hole or two? There we go.
Hey.
One hole, 61%. And lastly, actually no, there's two more. Smooth or chunky peanut butter?
Chunky.
I think I like chunky too. Yeah. No, I like chunky. 68% smooth. Jesus, they probably put that on a fucking hot dog bun.
Fucking
is it wrong to wear socks and sandals? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess you're a dork if you do.
I mean, it depends on the sandals. I mean, I think those like the Nike slip-on sandals. I think it's okay to wear. Like the one where like your toes aren't separated or anything like that. It's just got the one thing over top.
Yeah, but what if you're around your house or going to run a quick errand and you don't want to change, or if you're, grilling in your backyard or something like that.
Name the sandal, and I'll tell you sock appropriate or not.
I'm just saying, like if you're going out in public, doesn't matter what type of sandal. Don't wear socks.
I disagree. Well, okay, all right. Well, then we found a little disagreement here. Again, I think the slip-on sandal, like the athletic, like the shower shoe sandal, if you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
I think if you wear nice socks then that's an appropriate attire. I honestly don't like open-toed anything. I think it's irresponsible, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. 57% said yes, it's wrong to wear socks.
But like, if you're wearing Birkenstocks, then it's wrong. If you're wearing flip-flops, which I don't know how you pull that off, but that's obviously wrong. It just depends on the sandal, man. I mean, sandal's a fucking pretty vague term these days.
Yeah, like what's a sandwich? It's more or less the same.
Well, okay, like Crocs and socks. You hear people mock that. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you? It's more of a shoe than it is a sandal.
It is, yeah.
So
where's Croc's not a sandal, right?
It's its own thing, man.
If your digits are out in the open, don't wear a fucking sock. Put a shoe on.
I'll ask you this. Flip-flops and jeans.
Yeah, I think so. If you're doing like a short sleeve shirt.
If the climate forces you to cover up the other 2/3 of your leg, then you should just fucking cover your feet. It's fucking dumb.
I don't know, man. I think that there's such a volatile transition here in the Mid-Atlantic that,
I know.
Can be weird. It can be weird. All right, man. You did your Is this like Monday for you? Did you do your due diligence on Fun Fact Friday? Did you get the hot topics, the good bits, the good facts, the things that are going to make us go into work on Friday just beaming with?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I actually cannot find the fun fact calendar for now, but I keep reserve fun facts lying around, but I'm also going to debut what we will probably primarily be using next year. So a little bit of a look forward. It's the Stump Everyone True Facts That Sound Like Bullshit. It's a full book of 500 separate facts that, are rather amazing. So I'd like to start this particular episode with one from the book, and we'll get 3 from the calendar. But buckle up, everybody. It's time to expand your minds with your mental floss. Amazing facts that might be true or sound like bullshit. Brought to you, of course, by our brand new friend over on Instagram. It's Cuckster for Life. Go check out the Cuckster for Life on Instagram. Make you feel better about your life. Here we go. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know hippopotamus sweat is pink? Now, that's not entirely accurate. Hippo sweat comes out clear, just like ours, but hippopotamuses secrete hipposudoric acid, which has a red tint to it and quickly turns hippo sweat into a shade of dark pink, so dark that sometimes it's mistaken for blood. Commonly referred to as blood sweat, the acidic coating helps protect the hippo from both sun damage and harmful bacteria.
No, and I enjoy the animal kingdom hippo. That I didn't know. That's actually, I like that little tidbit at the end about it protecting its skin from sun, because they have to bask a little bit, but they spend about 20 to 22 hours a day in that shitty filled water where they're just pooping all over the place.
That's their own fucking problem, man. Like, so now I had never seen the hippo, and then because I went to Disney, and then we also took William to it's the aquarium in Camden, New Jersey.
Okay.
We saw them right there through the fucking plexiglass.
Yeah.
But then you get to go to the next level where you're below the water, and their digestive system isn't that good, and they eat a lot of fucking grasses. Dude, the entire flooring is just fucking nut. It looks like somebody just dropped bales of hay in there. It's terrible, and they just shit it all out, just cloudy, and they just raise that little fucking tail and just propellers whipping it around.
That's what I was going to get to, because they'll take a dump, and then a sign of dominance amongst males is to use the tail to whip poop out as it's coming out of their ass. If males have been in a fight and one of the males is retreating, the other male will try to bite the tail off, so they can't do that anymore.
Oh wow!
Which are basically scar you for life. Legitimately, you can't fling poop around. You can't be a poop flinger anymore.
Shit can no longer hit the fan when you're around.
That's right. You can only poop straight down, you beta hippo.
God damn. Speaking of
And,
beta,
and a lot of them have like they have scars all over their fucking like what we would think of as like quads and shoulders.
well, they're evil too, man. Those fucking mouths are just death machines. I think more people are killed by hippos like in the wild than any other animal.
Oh.
They're aggressive as shit, and they're fast. They're
said-
sneaky fast.
They're a lot faster than you anticipate. Yeah, they're
Like
white guy fast.
Yeah, they're like Jason Kelsey fast.
That's right.
And when they catch you, they'll kill you.
Right. Yeah.
Did you know pop-up video, which premiered in 1996, was never known for its gentle touch, but some artists took a little bit of offense to it after the show featured Billy Joel's Keeping the Faith. Now, this is on VH1. It doesn't mention that in here. The network received calls from Joel, who claimed his daughter was being teased about jokes relating to her mom and his ex, Christy Brinkley. Quote, "It's rumored that Christy didn't keep the faith with Billy," was one line. VH1 then yanked the video from its schedule.
I don't remember that show.
You don't remember that? So they would play videos, and the only fucking thing that was annoying
Was the
is 'cause this is when-
pop-ups? Oh, that's that I remember. So you get the music video and then boop.
And it
Yeah.
would have like a fun fact about something, or like, this song was written in a diner in Arlington, Virginia when a bomb went off,
Yeah, there's one it was like a Backstreet Boys one where they did it. So they play the video in double time, so they do the audio when they're doing the lip syncing in double time. When they play it back, it's them doing it slow. You get what I'm saying? So when they're shooting the music video, and in the background somewhere they play the music, so the artist or the musician
yeah.
lip sync, you play it at double speed. So they have to sit there and sing it fast, but you shoot it at double the frame rate. So in this case, 60 frames per second. So when you edit it at 30 frames per second and slow it down, it looks like you're singing it in slow motion. And they showed that as a fact for a Backstreet Boys video when I was like 15. I was like, wow, look at those guys. They get laid all the time. They did.
Yeah, they did. I know. I was gonna say, like, yeah, like that was a fact that didn't need to be popped on the screen.
Boop! You know these guys get laid all the time? Yeah, I know. Come on. Give
Yeah,
me something I
that's
want to
not
say.
a fact. I don't need to know that one. Did you know when Butterball's Turkey Talk line first opened up its phone lines to panicked chefs in 1981, they had a staff of 6 home economists who economists? Why would that be economists? But anyway, they responded to 11,000 calls between November and December. Today, they employ a staff of 50 turkey pros, all of whom have at least a bachelor's degree in a food-related field, who help avoid holiday disasters by responding to more than 100,000 questions during the holiday seasons.
Okay, so you have a staff and presumably some sort of like telemarket area that field questions about cooking turkeys.
Not just turkeys. They open it. It's like, listen, the green bean casserole. I don't have any cream of mushroom soup. What can I do? Is there any substitutes?
So these people are on par with the balloonies, more or less. These is like the experts of.
No, I feel like these guys know what they're doing.
Okay. And it was 6 people fielding 50,000 calls originally.
No, originally it was 6 people fielding 11,000 calls.
That's a hard month's work.
Yeah, and now it's 50 dealing with 100,000 calls.
God.
I mean,
the
some
whole
of them
holiday
might,
season.
but some of them might be easy though. Some might be like, "Hey, when do I take the turkey out of the freezer?"
Right.
Well, we recommend for a 20-pound turkey 3 days in advance. Anything more than that, 4. Anything less than that, you're rolling the dice with 2.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe they were the people that like Brandon Wu called them and said, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to cook with this. Not really sure how I can be safe."
Okay.
They called the authorities.
Do I now to preheat a gas oven? Do I just like leave the gas running?
Door open, right? That way it gets the whole house.
Yeah, and then I just spark it with a flare gun, right?
It's like a sauna effect. I'm gonna really slow cook this sucker.
Let the juices really marinate on the walls. fun with death. Did you know? Throughout the 1980s, a number of children's characters were accused of being in league with the devil, or at least with some so-called. Hold on, let me try this one again because this is a fun one. All right, because this is going to be some of our great childhood memories. I don't have my glasses on, so it's a little tough here. Did you know? Throughout the 1980s, a number of children's characters were accused of being in league with the devil, or at least with what some called the occult. Thundercats was purportedly intended to promote Eastern mysticism. The He-Man Snake Mountain playset supposedly involved demonic imagery because kids could use the microphone to deepen their voices and pretend to be evil. And, according to some interpretations, the beauty mark on Rainbow Bright's cheek was actually a pentagram.
A cult. I've heard that bullshit from time to time. And I think I thought a lot of it dialed back to like the early or Generation 1 D&D. Maybe that's just more demonic and things like that. But I've also like there are a lot of late 80s, early 90s actresses, beautiful women too. Like let's say like Drew Barrymore, who has a butterfly tattooed on her back hip. Apparently that was a sign of like a Hollywood occultism. Like these people under the mind spell.
Okay. Have you heard?
You sure she wasn't just a 19-year-old with some money? Christ, I know 19-year-olds who didn't have any fucking money and they have them.
Now, have you ever heard Drew Barrymore do like a real interview?
I mean, I've heard her give an interview. How can I tell a fake one aside from a not fake one?
Well, I mean, like a genuine interview, like one where she's not like got canned questions that she already knows, like she's going to be answering.
I don't believe I have. Maybe if I search hard enough.
Go on Netflix, go to Norm Macdonald Has a Show, and watch the Drew Barrymore episode, and you will realize that Drew Barrymore is not making a lot of well-thought decisions about anything in the world. Self-admittedly, she's like, when I was on ET, I became one of the biggest child actors in the world. I didn't go to school. I didn't hang out with kids. I hung out with publicists. I hung out with, agents. I hung out, like, I did drugs. I did cocaine when I was 12. She's not, like, to think that she was, like, purposefully doing something to promote something nefarious is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's equally as absurd to think that Thundercats and... Was it Punky Rainbow Bright or something? Is that what you said?
You almost said Punky Brewster.
I almost said Punky Brewster. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see a close up. Of the beauty mark. Look, I can guarantee you that in some episode here or there, some fucking like dickhead artist like drew a pentagram as her fucking. That's probably a real thing, just for shits and giggles, but not to fucking brainwash your kids. And you know what? Thundercats did kind of show Eastern mysticism with the whole like Mum-Ra and he comes to life, like, but it's a fun story. We also have to remember that the evangelicals still ran politics back in the 1980s. So anything that wasn't absolutely fucking Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins was bad.
Bad stuff, man. Don't be. Listen, man. You watch your wrestling, okay, and you watch your He-Man. And after that, man, the Transformers, maybe.
Because they weren't trying to sell anything to you but toys.
That's right. Capitalism's good.
Goddamn right. You know who likes capitalism? Our Lord and Savior, Ronald Reagan.
God bless his soul.
And finally, did you know killer whales eat deer? Let that sink in for a second.
The only thing I could think of is because I've watched. If you want to finish, go ahead. I'll save my thoughts.
Okay, killer whales eat deer. Most notably in Alaska, killer whales or orcas have been known to prey on deer that decide to take a dip in the water. Some have even been known to regurgitate fish onto the surface of the water in order to lure seagulls in.
So that doesn't shock me now, understanding like the where. You said Alaska. Yeah. The orcas, they hunt all over the world, everywhere, and damn near anything that they can. And sometimes they just kill things that they don't necessarily hunt. Just kill for the thrill of a kill. And I I would have to suspect that deer, in this case, more like a water buck, will swim from area to area to find more greener pastures, if you will. And yeah, fucking orcas are dicks, man. They probably say, like, what's this little fella doing? Gulp. Yeah. And then
you
what?
say
And then they barf up food for seagulls to get it so they can eat the
yeah, they
seagulls.
can fucking snap up on those motherfuckers. Yeah, they bait them in. But look, imagine this. Imagine you're a wildly intelligent creature. You have no opposable fucking limbs. You're trapped in the water. You got nothing to do all day. You're gonna fuck with the lessers. Isn't that what we do?
We do.
So,
We do.
it may sound evil, but if the only thing you got to make your day go round is your mouth, well, you're
Right.
going to use it to chomp up a few things just to be a dick. And being
Yeah.
a dick's fun sometimes.
If there isn't a bigger dick,
Yeah. And sometimes they save a surfer, right? And sometimes sometimes they eat a seagull out of the sky.
sometimes they flick fucking seals 40 feet in the air.
Why? Because they can.
That's right. Hey, fella, poo!
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Actually, an orca, it's probably like. So- uh, tonight on Before You Go, we were going to use this for a friend or foe, but me and Murr and presumably Alan vetoed this as a foe all around. So it's BBC. I think it seems legit.
Big black cocks.
British broadcast company. Porn watchers could have their face scanned if new legislation passes. Wait a minute. So it's the BBC. Does this mean Americans are okay?
For now, you never know. We like to test the waters, right? Let somebody
Right.
else try it first and see what happens.
So porn users could have their face scanned to prove age with extra checks for young-looking adults, draft guidance, and I've never a draft guidance from Ofcom suggests. I don't know what that means. Ofcom is that. It's like I guess it has something to do with drafting or a draft. Watchdog has said a number of ways for explicit sites could prevent children from viewing pornography. The average age, here we go. This should be what's the average age of most children first time viewing pornography?
Ooh, average age?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 12.
13.
Okay.
13. Explicit website Pornhub suggests regulations requiring the collection of, quote, highly sensitive personal information could jeopardize user safety. Thank you, Pornhub, for coming to our defense. Privacy campaigners have also criticized the proposal, warning of, quote, catastrophic consequences if data from age checks is leaked. Is your age that catastrophic? I guess you're putting like certain information, but...
Again, like the fact that they're going to use the technology to like get, they obviously have to capture your image, and they're then to do that, they're going to be like, well, what are you watching? And then that gets leaked, and we're already pretty close to that through your IP address and everything. I don't even know if VPNs are even really that safe now because they all the workarounds. Bottom line is no. What if you look young? Come
Yeah.
on. When I was 18, I didn't look 18.
Dude, I didn't look 18 till I was like 26. I was getting ID'd at doors at bars regularly till I was like 33, 34. And still every now and then I think I'm not going to say like they do it. I think they do it more of as like everybody. But yeah, I don't know. Chris, do you know Tom Byron? Do you know who that is?
No.
Tom Byron was an 80s and 90s porn actor who made his bones from looking young. You know what I mean? So he had this kind of, I guess, everyday guy next door, young looking guy type of look. And come to find out, there was times where he was playing characters at 17 to 19 years of age, again, in fiction, in porn, when he was in his mid to late 20s.
I believe it. Most of your '90s actors and actresses that were in teen sagas were in their 20s.
In their
I mean,
20s, sure, yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is the tale as old as time. I just look, porn's made, porn will be viewed. It shouldn't be. It should be on like the adults. Like William doesn't look, man. I mean, I'm not like a super strict parent. I've just set parameters for the kid, and if I find that he's doing something that he shouldn't, well, guess what? You just go into the settings on his iPad, and you change them, and he can't view the things that like you're worried about. That's it. So if you're a parent and you're worried about your kid, don't give him a phone. Give him a phone. Fucking like there's set. I will give the software engineers like at Apple and Google and all that all the credit in the world. If you want to prevent them from seeing it, you can, and that's on you to stop them from doing it. Stop with your bullshit, because then all you're doing is fucking penalizing adults who just have 20 minutes in their day where they want to really relax.
Let me get comfy here. And, you know, listen, there was a time when I was suspicious of whether or not, when I checked, yes, I'm 18, when I wasn't 18, if I thought someone was looking over my shoulder, like, maybe they'll know. Ooh, this is a roll of the dice. And I always hit yes. Always. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? What's the point of being there? You already typed in the address. You might as well go in.
Man, it's guilty conscience. I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm like someone's going to knock on my door a day later. Tell my dad.
Believe me, look, and you're talking to the guy I had the same thoughts. So like, let's not. I'm not mocking you. I just think it's funny that we ever thought that was it. Like that was just. Now that I know it, like liability, and I understand the definition of that,
right.
I understand why they did it.
You know, you said in the 80s they had 50 people on a hotline that were going to talk to you about how to cook your Thanksgiving or holiday dinner. In the 90s, they had one person who was checking in on millions of teenagers watching porno. Like, oh man, I guess I can't get to the bottom of all this.
Well, think about this too. Before the internet, the safeguard for viewing porn was the fucking like the gentle like wind chime sound of the beads rattling in the fucking porn section at the video store. Just the, and then the guy behind the counter would look up, huh? Hey, you can't go in there. That was it. He was the keeper of the porn.
I thought it was video games. My bad.
Yeah. But now it's a wild west.
Now they want facial recognition. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't like it. It ain't happening. That's I don't know.
If they passed it, I swear to you, porn viewership would go down like 60%.
Maybe we should get back into selling DVDs, you know? Like, hey, we got all these early 2000 jammers.
Jesus. There's some Best Buy store owner, fucking franchisee hanging on in like the Midwest. It's like, come on, facial recognition. I still got a warehouse full of VCRs I can get rid of.
I got a 6-month license that's still good. Don't have to renew it. All right. So this is usually where I tell Alan to tell everyone where you can find the middle class holes.
Look, man, Alan does such a great job of rattling it off, but let's
see. All you people who are nervous about looking at pornography and don't want your face out on the internet, you can check out the middle class holes at MDL Class Holes on Instagram and Twitter, or X if you're into that thing. Middle class holes at TikTok and Middle Class Holes on YouTube. And we're also on all your social media podcasts, such as Google Podcasts and Spotify. And there might be one or two others. Apple Podcasts. That's right. You bite the apple. There you are. And enjoy. Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much for getting in on that. We do have a couple comments, a couple funny ones too. One that I wanted to cue you in on. This is a moon landing in CGI via TikTok. Did you see this? I edited this one.
I did, and I'm waiting on you to. Yeah, I want to see which comment you go with.
That's right. So Kate, there was a string of them. It was started by a guy named KT, not Katie, but the letters K and T. You know, Ken Trevor or Ken Thomas or whatever. He says it was a hoax done in a Hollywood set. Keep the same energy. We could transmit a clear image to the moon. Hold on. I misread that. Keep
No, you
The
didn't
same,
misread it.
keep
It
the
just
same
doesn't
energy.
make sense.
We could transmit a clear image from the moon. Yeah. Question mark. Question mark. So I said, yeah, you're proof of this. Then Blickety Blow says, do you own a decent telescope? You can see the landers and rover tracks on the moon. He said the fact that it wasn't possible to do. I'm not saying we haven't been. I'm saying the moon landing was fake. Then here's the real meat and potatoes. I work in communications.
Oh, here we go. He's an
To
expert.
broadcast in a town, you need an array of amps and antennas and voltage to transmit. Nah, I didn't. I would like to see that. And then he said, get a $400-$500 telescope. You can. Then I asked for evidence and he didn't reply. And then I said, so you've got nothing. Got it. So interesting.
Yeah. I almost replied to that like, prove it. Like,
Yeah.
'cause that's what, look, okay. I just, look, people are going to hold on to what they hold on to, man. I don't know how to, like, you're not going to
Cognitive
convince that
dissonance, man.
guy. It's just like the flat earthers when they, to their credit, go out and actually do the experiments and then they fail. Then they just try to figure out why the experiment failed. They don't try to
Right.
they don't just say like, fuck, I guess I was wrong. They're like, that experiment must have been wrong.
Yes.
Like, even though it turned out exactly. I saw one the other day. I think I sent it
It's
to you guys.
the helicopter with the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
How far off the ground are you? We're 60 feet off the ground. Huh. Well, I can't see you. Oh, well, we're hovering right now. Well, all right, I'm going to calibrate my instruments. Like, no, dude.
We're showing you a video feed from us. Yeah.
It's the Earth, man. It's the Earth. Just be like, fuck, I messed up. Fine, you guys are right.
This is coming from YouTube. Joey Lawrence hair plugs. That's where we went on some long array, and we brought in Ryan Seacrest as a stunt double, or his Ryan Seacrest as stunt double would be Joey Lawrence.
Like the same age.
This is Rev Ray, I think REVREA. She said the first season of Melissa and Joey, his tattoo stubble was absolutely atrocious. Did you know there was a Melissa and Joey?
Yeah, it was him and Melissa Joan Hart, and that's where I first saw the tattoo stubble.
Okay.
And that's how I knew it was a thing.
I asked if the show was any good, and she replied,
That's the proper response.
fair enough.
And then it was somebody had to greenlight it, so it had to be at least amiable.
It's adult fun time on Instagram. Stubert29 writes, and again, this is where we were talked about having an adult go-kart track while you're drunk at a gutted mall. Stubert29 writes, all I'm hearing is, quote, several waivers will need to be signed at the door. Perfect, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, you sign away all fucking liability. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not suing them if I get hurt. I get what I'm doing. Come on, man. If you can fucking sign up to go up in a hot air balloon on a fucking breezy day in fucking May, then you can ride on a go-kart drunk in a mall.
Well, you're with a balloonist. I mean, that's got to account for something.
Yeah, okay. I'm a go-kartist.
I sit here and I wave a checkered flag.
Yeah, I'm
Go!
qualified. I got several certifications.
I'm certified in this. Oh, well, that might be all the time we have. An hour and 22 minutes. That's all right. We're getting down towards the nitty gritty of the holiday season. We're going to get some celebrity deaths. So we're going to recap how well we've done. And I had, was it Queen Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I also had Jimmy Carter, who any day now.
Dude, I thought I had Jimmy Carter, but it doesn't matter. Jimmy Carter's on the list. I don't care if I get credit for it, even if I did. I want the people on our list to fucking die. And dude, I saw, man, come on, Jimmy Carter's wife dies. Like, I'm like, and I feel bad, but I'm just like, come on. And then they start showing Jimmy Carter just like, I mean, God bless him. He made it to the fucking venue, but Lord have mercy. If his soul's like dragging the wheelchair, it's like pulling him along.
You think they had to like inject him with fire ant juice?
Just to get his heart stimulated enough to fucking stay alive to watch him. Goodness. And then they, sorry, no, I just saw they gave Melania Trump a fucking rift of shit because she wore a fucking like gray coat.
Come on,
Yeah,
Jesus
I know.
Christ!
I know. I know.
Get over
anything,
it. Get
anything,
over it.
anything to just fucking be in the news.
You wore a gray coat. Motherfucker, you wore... Do you... Never mind. You're going to get
I
me
know.
going.
I know. Just find something else, man. Just find
Hey,
something
people.
else.
Hey, people. All right, middle classers, everyone, enjoy your night. But I think we'll have some special shows coming up for you for Christmas and holiday season.
We got some special guests on the way.
Yeah. Good night.
Might be on as fuck. I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up.
Well, sometimes I may need a hand when I'm just too drunk to stand. I don't need your sympathy, keep your judgment too. Cause you just give it a little pull, and my dick's strong like bull, ready to satisfy my woman whole night through.
I get drunk most every day. Everyone knows Scooter is a gay. Might be on as fuck. I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up. I fell down, but my dick's still up. I fell down, but my dick's still up.